Hey y'all, iRig Sky here, back again with another tutorial video. Now what I wanted to do today is respond to feedback from several fans, and you've probably heard it, you may have even seen it, but it's the tilted gimbal horizon issue. And I must confess, as I always preach on this channel, being the drone evangelist, as I always preach, I don't tell you what you want to hear. I want to tell you how it is, and I will tell you that in several of my videos, now I attribute it to the strong wind, but in several of my videos I did encounter a tilted gimbal issue. Now what I've done since those flights in extremely windy conditions is that I've gotten to a place where it's not as windy. I've rerun the calibration, you know, where you spin in a circle and then you tilt the nose down where the camera's facing and spin in the circle again. I've run that. I've also run the auto calibrate for the gimbal. So to get into that, and you can check out my separate video on 400orbelow.com where I step through that procedure. But at a high level, basically within your DJI pilot app, you just click that little to the right of where it says safe to fly GPS, if assuming that you got your GPS and it's synced up. Looks like a little controller. If you click on that, then you can go to the gimbal and go into the auto calibrate there. So that's something I've done, and I'm going to hit record now and going to fly and see if I still have. There is a minimal amount of wind today, but I'm going to fly to see if I still have any tilted gimbal issue. That's the first time I've seen this, and again, none of this stuff is scripted. But when I attempted to start the engines, it says gyroscope's bias value is too large. Please restart the aircraft, contact DJI support if error persists. So that's quite interesting. So this was not expected. So let's see what happens here. We're gonna turn it off and back on. Okay, it's turned off. And now I'm going to turn it back on. First time I've seen that issue. Now a lot of people, and something I strongly encourage people to do, is that inevitably we're all early adopters of the UAV technology. I mean, this is the Phantom 3 Professional, which at the time of posting this is without a doubt the latest and greatest and best drone in my opinion. But you know, as we just saw, I mean, there will be hiccups here and there as this technology continues to evolve. So don't look at it as a positive thing. Look at it as a learning opportunity. And that's the way I look at it. That's why I didn't get upset. So I'm going to start my video recording again, 4K. I'm just using auto settings. It is semi-sunny today. I'm using an ND filter. It'll be interesting to see how the lighting looks with the ND. But let's try to crank it up now. And I'm still getting gyroscope's bias, BIAS value is too large. Please restart aircraft. Contact DJI support if issue continues. Let's see if we can take off using in-app takeoff. And again, I get the same error message. Gyroscope's bias value is too large. Please restart aircraft. We're going to take the battery out and we're going to see that remedies the situation. This is the first time I've encountered this, and you know, one thing's for sure, and the reason I remain so calm about this is that if this does fail to function, I will let the world know. Well, I actually already am, because you're watching this video. If this doesn't work, you will know that even I encountered an error that I couldn't resolve. But we're going to get through this. We're taking the battery out, waiting a few seconds here. Going to let things kind of calm down with the Phantom here. Tap it 3 times for good luck. And now we're going to push the power button on. I'm also going to exit the DJI Pilot app, and to be even more thorough, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off I'm using the iPhone 6 Plus. I'm just going to turn that phone off. Turn the controller off. Probably not a good idea to turn the controller off with the Phantom on, because if it did decide to start its engines, it may try to start a return home scenario, which would not be good, because it would probably try to fly to an island somewhere. Okay, let's see. And that's bad. There's a train coming. I want to get that train on the video. Maybe we will. Power my iPhone 6 Plus back up. We'll work around. I wish I had another camera with me. I would have screenshotted that error, but I read it off. And you know, actually what I can do, when it comes back up, I can do the screenshot in the iOS. Hopefully it won't come back up, but if it does, I'll screenshot it, and then we can use this for troubleshooting purposes. Okay, so I'm getting back into my phone here, turning my controller on. It is worth mentioning that I am running the latest firmware right now at the time of posting this video. So that if I can't resolve these issues in the field, one of the next things I'm going to attempt is reinstalling the firmware. And it acknowledges within the app, it says normal, latest firmware. It's starting up this time. I was getting nervous there. You know, I don't sugarcoat this. I was genuinely nervous. So just to recap, and you can see it spinning right now, we're about to fly. But just to recap, I was getting the bias value, whatever message I read off earlier, I forget. It was BIAS, something, something, something. So if you're getting that, just to recap, when I turned the Phantom off, that didn't fix it. I took the battery out of the Phantom, held it out for, I don't know, 20 seconds or so while I was filming this video. I completely powered down my iPhone 6 Plus, powered down my controller, brought everything back up, and now it looks like it's going to be hunky-dory. So we're going to start this recording. Let's see what kind of footage we can get, because I know the original intent for this video was to see if I'm still getting any sort of tilted gimbal issue that I was getting in the extreme wind at my last flying location. Oops, I just turned it off, my bad. Okay, here we go. So far, so good. Do some acrobatic moves here to see if I can get problems. So far so good, absolutely no problems. The gimbal seems to be perfectly steady. I'm going to continue to fly though, because I really want to get a very thorough flight here. Because I mean, I was getting, with that wind in my previous videos, I mean, I was getting some wicked gimbal tilt. But I mean, I didn't have a what do you call the thing that measures wind speed? I can't think of the name of it. Altimeter measures altitude. Well, we'll just say that thing that measures wind speed. I didn't have one of those with me, but if I had to speculate, I would speculate that the wind speed was approximately 35 miles per hour. And that was at ground level. When I was up at a safe and responsible altitude, I'm assuming that the wind speed was likely much greater. So it's actually incredible when you think about it that it held up as well as it did with that extreme wind. Now obviously I was over the ocean with nothing below, so should it have crashed, I still would have needed to recover it because of contamination of the ocean, but I wouldn't have crashed into anything. But it's really cool putting this thing, stretching the limits of the Phantom 3, because I mean, this thing is, and I know we're all subject to our own opinions, but from a dollars perspective, performance perspective, not just from the flight dynamics, but the camera itself. And that's, I mean, even if you don't want 4K, I mean, I'm going 4K with the Phantom 3 Professional. You know, don't discredit the Phantom 3 Advanced that maxes out at 1080p, because you're getting 1080p 60 versus 1080p 30 like you did with the previous version of the Phantom 2 Vision Plus, which is also a great drone. And it can be found heavily discounted now, actually, because they've got the Phantom 3 out. So, I mean, I am really stoked by the performance of this drone. And I will say I was a little bit shocked when I got that error earlier, but again, just remain calm, figure it out, and share with the world, because none of this stuff's sugar-coated. I mean, this is how it is. And it's, let's see, we're gonna come back over here. Now there's a little bit more wind, but it's handling fine. I mean, this wind is nothing like the wind off the ocean. This is inshore wind, very calm, yet noticeable. And I do have the prop guards on. Some of the flights that I flew in the extreme wind over the ocean, I actually did not fly with prop guards because, I mean, it was just so windy. Not that they wouldn't have been able to handle it, but it would have reduced my flight time a little bit, because, you know, it does add a small amount of weight and it does add a small amount of drag. As you can see right here, and I'll flip this camera back and forth as we're watching this video, because I want you to see the footage and how good it looks. But yeah, no problems at all. And I've been recording this flight for 7 minutes and 15 seconds so far. And typically when I encounter those tilted horizon issues, you know, I would encounter them right out the door and throughout the flight. You know, at moments during the flight when the wind really picked up. So get some cool shots here, low altitude. To bring this sucker in right here. Watch this. See the precision of that hover right there? And people were asking me, they said, well, if you put the prop guards on, doesn't it really affect the hover of the Phantom 3? And Look at that. Hands off, see? And again, I like the prop guards because I save props. If it does tilt over when I land, I'm less likely to break a prop. When I'm landing in a tight space like the front of my small boat, I use the quick disconnect prop guard, so if it tilts over, again, I reduce the possibility of breaking a prop or multiple props. And it just emphasizes it exudes a level of safety. And that's something that's important because a lot of people are afraid of drones. And if they're not genuinely afraid of drones, they try to play themselves off to be afraid of drones because they want to create negative media buzz in regards to drones. So look at that. And I'm going to bring it a little bit closer here. You can see I've got a lens filter on it. As I mentioned earlier, I'm flying with an ND. This is actually a screw-on lens filter. And I've enjoyed both the screw-on and the twist-on. But what's cool about the screw-on, it goes on just like a camera lens filter. See? So yeah, performing really well. I'm super stoked with the performance and zero tilted horizon issues. Again, very minimal amount of wind. But even with wind, I've had crystal clear stability up to about 15 or 20 miles per hour with this. Now, when I got, like I said, when I was out over the ocean, it did get sketchy. And I mean, that was a great amount of wind speed coming off of that ocean. But it's doing really well, and I'm gonna bring it in. I just want to show you the precision of landing this. And this is something that with the Phantom 2 Vision Plus and the Phantom 2, they were very, very precise as well. But what they did not have, the ground-facing sensors. They only had GPS. The Phantom 3 has ground-facing sensors, GPS, and GLONASS, which GLONASS is like your, it's the Russian equivalent of GPS. So you've just got those extra elements for enhanced flight precision. As you can see here, I'm going to put it down on the top of my waterproof and ruggedized case up here. I need to spray that thing off. That's the low battery alarm. I need to spray this off because I got salt water all over it. Not the Phantom, but the case. And again, to stop the motors, I always just pull the left stick down. Once I land, I hold it down and then gently pull it down. And what that does is stops the motors on the Phantom 3 Professional. Now, obviously, alternatively, you could stop the motors by pushing both sticks that way, but that's less than ideal because when you do it that way, it seems to kind of shake a little bit and you're probably going to topple over. But again, if I did topple over, using quick disconnect prop guards like I do, it better protects the propellers from damage. So this was kind of a multi-purpose video. I appreciate you watching it in its entirety. My intent with this video was to test and ensure that my tilted horizon issue had been resolved, but also I was presented with an unexpected error, which was a cool learning opportunity, the bias error, B-I-A-S. So if you've seen that problem, then hopefully what I just did will help you too. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. It's youtube.com/IRIXGuy. Share this video with others. Check out 400orbelow.com. You can also get there by going to droneevangelist.com. troubleshooting.com, and you can find a plethora of tutorials I put up. I've shared links to the various products that I use, Phantom 3 case, this little short iOS cable here, and a lot more. So thanks for watching, and y'all have a good day and fly safe.